Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Thursday, May the 12th. We do have a two-game slate once again for Thursday night. We got Game 6s tonight, so Game 6 of Miami-Philadelphia. Miami up 3-2 in that series, so they got a chance to close things out, move on to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then we have Game 6 of Phoenix and Dallas. Phoenix up 3-2 in that series, obviously a win, and they would move on to the Western Conference Finals. So some big games tonight. Hopefully these games stay close. We did see a massive freaking blowout Wednesday night with Memphis. You know, who would have expected Memphis to beat Golden State by as much as they did? Hopefully tonight's games stay close. We get some good NBA action. But we're going to talk through these two games, kind of give my early thoughts on the slate, what I do like, taking a first look on Wednesday night. And then we'll talk through a couple plays I like, 4 or 5 guys, some core options that do stand out to me at first look. But before we get started with the breakdown, as always, guys, hit that like button down below. I always appreciate the likes. If you're new to the channel, you have not yet, hit that subscribe button as well. And also, go check out PrizePicks, the sponsor of this video. So PrizePicks is a player prop based DFS site. I'm sure most of you guys have heard of PrizePicks already. But if you are new and you have not checked them out, you can sign up with my promo code NOAH. They will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code, and you're just picking the over or the under on players' projections. It is very simple, very easy to use. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks, and you can win up to 10 extra money on PrizePicks. You can also mix and match sports. PrizePicks does offer a lot of other sports outside of just NBA. Give them a try. Sign up with that promo code. You'll get your first deposit matched up to $100. But let's talk through Thursday night slate. Start off with the Miami and Philadelphia game. So on the Miami side, only really the important news to talk about is that Kyle Lowry is going to be out once again for Miami. He was out last game, but the rest of these guys, all these questionable guys, Hero, Strus, Tucker, Vincent, they should all be in. We'll start off at the top though with Jimmy Butler. So as you can see by the thumbnail, I like Jimmy Butler quite a bit on this slate. Last game he did lose out on a few minutes because of a blowout. He only played 35 minutes when normally in the playoffs Butler's going to play like 40 to 42 minutes. He's just been dominant in the postseason. His usage has been really good. He's been rebounding. He's been getting assists. His assist number should definitely go up without Kyle Lowry, and we kind of saw that be the case last game, having 6 assists in 35 minutes. I know he's expensive at $9,800, but Jimmy Butler has just shown such a massive floor and ceiling so far in the playoffs. If this game's close, we know he's playing massive minutes. We know the volume's going to be there. The opportunity's going to be there. I think he's right up there with Luka in terms of best pay-up option on the slate, and it's hard to find value on these playoff slates, especially because the pricing is getting tighter. It's just there's not really many pay down options that look good, so it's kind of tough to really spend all the way to the top for Luka. I think taking the savings going down to Jimmy Butler is something I kind of like doing. I do like Jimmy Butler on the slate, especially on Yahoo. I think in the small forward position on Yahoo, he is by far my favorite small forward on Yahoo today. And then you have Bam Adebayo at 7,400, who I did like quite a bit last slate. Was a little bit disappointing. Only played 28 minutes. Obviously lost some minutes because of the blowout. Only had 25 DraftKings points. So far in this series, especially since Embiid has returned, Bam has not been great. He hasn't shown a massive upside, but we know Bam can produce when he's on the floor. We know he's going to average around a fantasy point per minute most nights. We know he's going to play 34, 35, 36 minutes most nights. I still think this $7,400 salary is too cheap for Bam. I still think he's one of the better center plays on this slate. I think choosing between him or like DeAndre Ayton, I do give a slight edge to Bam. So I definitely like Bam at 7,400. I think going back to him makes plenty of sense. And on Yahoo at $29, he's for sure one of my favorite centers, just points per dollar wise on Yahoo. I just think long term, when Bam plays 35, 36 minutes, he's gonna get you 35, close to 40 DK points. I know this matchup against Embiid is not the best. Obviously, there's some foul trouble risk guarding Embiid, but I still think this price tag is too low for Bam. So I do like him quite a bit as well. And then you have Tyler Hero at 6K, who was pretty disappointing last game, only 22 minutes, 16 DraftKings points. He should benefit without Kyle Lowry, and you should see his minutes be pretty secure. So far, Tyler Hero has been a really tough guy to predict. Like, you just never know what you're going to get from him. Some nights he'll get hot and he'll put up 35, 38 DraftKings points, and then some nights he just doesn't have it, and he'll put up like 15, 20 DK points. He's kind of a boom-bust option. The price tag at 6K is not super expensive for Hero. We saw him be priced close to 7K for early parts of this series. I think Hero's playable, but he's not someone that I'm in love with today. Victor Oladipo surprisingly only played 18 minutes last game, but he lost out on some minutes because of the blowout. Also, Max Strus got red hot. Max Strus came out red hot to start that game, so Oladipo didn't get to sub in as quick as he normally would, just because Strus kind of saw extended minutes. I think without Kyle Lowry, we should expect closer to 25, 30 minutes for Oladipo. I think the 18 minutes he played last game was a little bit of an outlier. I think that was definitely kind of the floor for him. He was still productive, though. He had 24 DraftKings points in only 18 minutes. He has been productive when he's gotten minutes so far with Miami. You would expect without Lowry, there will be more minutes available. This price tag on DraftKings doesn't make Oladipo really stand out to me. But on Yahoo, Oladipo is really cheap over there. He's only $12. I think he's a pretty good value play on Yahoo. Again, I know he didn't start. He came off the bench last game. He only played 18 minutes. But like I said, Max Strus came out super hot. Max Strus played the entire first quarter, when normally Max Strus never plays the entire first quarter. He usually subs out about halfway through, maybe 7-8 minutes through, and that's when Oladipo subs in. So I think Oladipo kind of saw less minutes, more so due to the excellent play of Max Strus last game. If Max Strus comes out red hot once again, then yeah, Oladipo might only play like 22, 24 minutes, but I think at his price tag on Yahoo, at least, $12, I think he's a pretty good value play over there. And then, yeah, like Max Strus, obviously, played really well last game, had a double-double, which I think is something we shouldn't expect again. Max Strus is never a guy that's going to get 10 rebounds. That's not normal for him. But he was hot from three. He's, shot 7 for 13, 4 for 10 from three. He put up a good game, 36 DraftKings points in 28 minutes. I think without Kyle Lowry, there is more minutes available for a guy like Max Strus. He probably plays like low 30s minutes here if I had to guess. The $5,100 salary doesn't make him a standout play today, but he's at least viable. PJ Tucker had a good game last game. He had his one good game a year where he put up 30 DraftKings points. Normally, PJ Tucker is scoring like 20 DraftKings points or less. He's just not a guy that really offers much upside. But he is going to play good minutes. He played 31 minutes last game, even in the blowout. I think he probably plays like low 30s minutes here, maybe like mid 30s. He's a playable option, but PJ Tucker's one of these guys I just never get excited to roster. And then Gabe Vincent did start last game in place of Kyle Lowry. Played 28 minutes, but he did get some extended run in garbage time. They actually played Gabe Vincent in the blowout. So, I'm not super high on Gabe Vincent today. He only played 7 minutes in the first half, which was definitely concerning. Like Oladipo. So Oladipo checked in to start the second quarter, and Oladipo played the entire second quarter, which makes me think, the 28 minutes that Gabe Vincent played last game might have been, it would have been lower had the game stayed close, because I don't think in a close game he would have been out there in the closing lineup. He just wasn't really playing that well. He hasn't played that well the last few games. Obviously, last game, he saw extended run because of the blowout. If you want to go to Gabe Vincent today with Lowry out, like, it's fine. But I'm not, like, super excited about Vincent. I don't think his minutes are super secure. I think he could definitely lose some minutes to Oladipo, maybe lose some minutes to a guy like Duncan Robinson. We actually did see Duncan Robinson get some minutes last game, so yeah, I'm not that high on Gabe Vincent, especially if he's going to be popular. Like, that's a guy that I definitely would be fine fading if he's going to be really chalky. And then, yeah, Duncan Robinson saw some minutes last game. He played 14 minutes. We know Duncan Robinson can get hot from the field and can put up, a good game when he's knocking down his shots. I still, I think it's just a large field GPP play. I think with Robinson getting minutes last game, that probably means he's going to get minutes again. But it's not a guarantee by any means. He's the minimum salary, though, so it's a guy you could definitely throw into your player pool if you're playing a lot of lineups in large field tournaments. But that's really it for Miami. Let's go ahead and talk about Philadelphia now. So on Philadelphia, you got Joel Embiid at the top, 9,700. Obviously, expect Embiid to play. He's listed as questionable, but he was listed as questionable last game, and he played. With their season on the line today, expect Embiid to be out there. So far in the series, Embiid has not been great. Miami has done a really good job at keeping him in check. He's only had 36, 42, and 27 DraftKings points in their 3 games. Embiid's ownership has been fairly low on these playoff slates, and I think it's once again going to be very low. Like, Jimmy Butler's going to be more popular. Luka's going to be more popular. Chris Paul and Devin Booker probably be more popular. I mean, Embiid has upside. We know that, but I don't love the matchup. He just hasn't shown the upside that we're used to him having. You also look at the shot attempts. Like, he's not really demanding the ball and taking a ton of shots, which is something we normally see him do. Like, normally Embiid's taking like 25 shots a game, but so far, I mean, Miami's throwing a lot of double teams at him. They've just done a good job of slowing him down. Embiid he's just kind of a risky option right now. I don't have a ton of confidence in him. James Harden at 8,700. We saw him have that great game, 2 games ago when they were at home. Going back at home today, maybe with the home crowd, maybe James Harden comes out and plays really well tonight. Who knows? He's been a super tough player to predict so far in the postseason. We know he's got that upside. Like, we know he can knock down shots. He can rebound. He can get assists. But he's very similar to Embiid. Like, he's tough to predict, man. Like, you just don't know what you're getting from James Harden on a nightly basis. I would just consider him like a risky GPP option. And then Tobias Harris and Tyrese Maxey, I think both can continue to be pretty solid mid-range plays. Like, if this game's close, you're getting 35, 40 minutes from both Harris and Maxey. Obviously, their upside is not as high with Embiid back, with Harden healthy, but the minutes are going to be there. The price tags are not that expensive, so I still think Harris and Maxey are both in play. Obviously, both of them were pretty terrible last game, but pretty much the entire Sixers team was terrible. I mean, they lost by almost 40, so don't even want to look too much into last game. We know, in a close game, you're getting probably 40 minutes from both Maxey and Harris, so they're fine, in my opinion. Danny Green as a value, I mean, like, I never get excited to roster Danny Green, but for what it's worth, he's been much better at home so far in the playoffs. Like, you actually look at his game log, he's had a lot of his best games so far in the postseason, especially in this series. His 2 best games came at home. Obviously, Philadelphia going back home tonight. Maybe with the home crowd, maybe that Danny Green can knock down some threes. I mean, I don't ever get excited to roster Danny Green, but when you're looking at these playoff slates, like, the value is just so thin. So Danny Green is obviously a playable value. I don't think there's anyone else on Philadelphia I'm considering, though. Like, none of these bench guys are really in play for me. We know Philadelphia is going to lean heavily on their starters, so I don't think there's really anyone off the bench I'm considering. So let's go ahead and talk about the next game, Phoenix and Dallas. So on the Phoenix side, you got the 2 guards, Devin Booker, Chris Paul. Obviously, both these guys are in play. I do have a slight lean to Booker, though. Booker's just been more consistent. He's been much better than Chris Paul lately. We know, in a close game, Devin Booker's also playing like huge minutes, 40, 42 minutes most likely. Played 43 minutes in game 4. Last game was a blowout. He only played 35 minutes, but obviously lost some minutes because of the blowout. The price I get 8,800. I don't think makes Booker like a standout play today. But if you look on Yahoo, I think he looks a lot better over there. For one, he's a shooting guard, and on Yahoo you don't really have like the dual position eligibility that you have on Draftkings. I would say that Booker's probably my favorite shooting guard on Yahoo if I can fit him. He's very closely priced to James Harden. I think I actually do give a preference to Booker over Harden. So I actually like Booker quite a bit on Yahoo. He's still in play on Draftkings. He doesn't stand out as much there, especially because, if you're playing Jimmy Butler, it's going to be really tough to pay up for like another stud, but just because there's not much value. And it's, if you pay for Luka, it's going to be really tough to fit another stud. So you're going to have to either go really balanced or maybe just play one stud today because the value is just so thin. Booker is obviously in play, though. Chris Paul is fine, but, back-to-back games now, Chris Paul has been really disappointing. It's actually been 3 straight games. Chris Paul's really struggled. Obviously, game 4 of this series, he was in massive foul trouble, and he fouled out in 23 minutes, so I don't really want to look too much into that game. But even last game in 35 minutes, just 25 DK points. In game 3 in 37 minutes, just 26 DK points. Not sure what's going on with Chris Paul right now. Like, I would think at some point he's going to bounce back and have a big game, but with how poorly he's played right now, I think he is a riskier option. I do prefer Booker, but I expect the ownership on Paul to be fairly low. So if you want to play Chris Paul in tournaments, like, go ahead. I don't think it's bad by any means. DeAndre Ayton at 7K, I mean, he continues to be a solid center play. Him and Bam are, kind of like 1A, 1B for me in terms of top center plays. I give a slight lean to Bam, but I think Ayton's fine. He's going to play probably 33, 34 minutes here. Did get into some early foul trouble last game, so he lost out on a few minutes because of that. Also, it was a blowout, but he was productive in only 22 minutes. He had 33 Draftkings points. So far in this series, we haven't seen much of a ceiling from DeAndre Ayton. His best game was in game 1 when he had 37 DK points. But we know that ceiling is there. We know Ayton can put up 45, 50 DK points any night. It's just, that we haven't seen it. He's still in play for me, but again, if I'm playing one of the centers between him or Bam, I do prefer Bam. Mikal Bridges, I think, is a very solid mid-range play. Like, Mikal Bridges has been pretty consistent so far in the playoffs. He did have a disappointing game in game 4. He did get into some foul trouble that game. But for the most part, Bridges has been scoring around 25, 30 Draftkings points a night in the postseason. He's been playing 40-plus minutes a night. He only played 34 last game, but again, it was a blowout. I think if this game's close, we're getting like 40 minutes from Mikal Bridges. Obviously, Mikal Bridges is one of these guys that, doesn't offer a massive, massive ceiling. But when he's playing so many minutes and he's only priced at 5,700, I think he is a very safe, high floor play. I do like him quite a bit on DraftKings. I think he's a very solid option in the mid-range. You could play him on Yahoo as well. But like I said earlier, my favorite small forward play on Yahoo is Jimmy Butler, and that's the guy I kind of want to play at the small forward position. But then you have Jay Crowder at 5,400, who's another guy that I've been playing a lot so far in the playoffs. He was disappointing last game, shot 1 for 6, was in foul trouble as well. He fouled out in those 27 minutes that he played. I would expect Crowder to bounce back today. Crowder actually has been pretty good in the playoffs in terms of his fantasy production. He's been averaging around a fantasy point per minute, and his minutes have been trending up. He did play 36 minutes in back-to-back games before last game. But again, he was in foul trouble last game. He was on pace to play big minutes, but foul trouble and blowout. I think if this game's close and we don't get any foul trouble from Jay Crowder, he's probably playing like mid-30s minutes. And at 5,400, like I still think Jay Crowder is a solid mid-range play. So I do like him on this slate as well. 5,400 on DK, very affordable on Yahoo, $16 over there. I think Crowder's a good option. Once again, I've been playing him a lot in the playoffs, and I think he's a pretty solid play today as well. Even though he struggled last game, I would expect him to play much better today, and hopefully he's not in foul trouble again. And then you got Cam Johnson at 4,500, who was pretty cheap last slate, and we saw be a really chalky value play. Price tag was only 3,900. It's come up to 4,500 today. I still think Cam Johnson is in play. He just doesn't look as good as he did last slate when he was 3,900. But he should get 23, 24 minutes off the bench. Obviously, we know what we're getting from Cam Johnson. He's kind of going to have to knock down threes to really get there. He's not a guy that's going to do a ton else outside of shoot and maybe grab a few rebounds. But he's cheap, and the value on this slate is really hard to come by. So I think Cam Johnson is a playable value option. And that's probably it from Phoenix. JaVale McGee barely played last game. He played just 3 minutes, and then we actually saw Bismack Biyombo pretty much be the backup center last game. Maybe with how they ran the rotation last game, maybe Bismack is the backup center now. So if you want to take a shot on Bismack in tournaments in large field GPPs, just kind of as a dart throw, I don't hate it, because if we do get 15, 16 minutes from Bismack, he can produce in limited minutes. He's going to be unowned, so he's one of those guys you could definitely sprinkle into your tournaments if you're playing a lot of lineups in large field tournaments. But none of these Phoenix guys I feel great about. Cameron Payne wasn't even in the rotation last game. Didn't even play, or he played 4 minutes in garbage time. So yeah, I don't feel great about Cameron Payne. Obviously McGee's minutes were way down. Larry Shamet, I never feel good about. So yeah, that's really it for Phoenix. Go ahead and talk about Dallas now before we end the video. So talking about Luka at the top. Look, I've got nothing negative to say about Luka. Luka's been amazing so far in the postseason. He's put up at least 50 DraftKings points in every single game so far in the playoffs. He's shown a super high floor. We obviously know that massive ceiling is there as well. I think in order for Luka to be a guy that you kind of have to have, he's going to need to put up one of those 75-point games like he did in game 1 of the series. If Luka puts up 55 DK points, that's probably not going to be good enough at his salary to be worth rostering. Obviously, Luka has that ceiling, but I don't think Luka's going to be someone I try and prioritize paying up for, just because the value is so hard to come by on this slate. And, if you play Luka, you're going to be forced to play some really gross value plays that you just don't feel good about. I would much rather just go balanced than trying to really spend up for Luka. I'm not saying Luka's a bad play. It's just the value on the slate is so thin, it's hard to fit him. Speaking of mid-range plays, I think Jalen Brunson's a very solid option in the mid-range. He's been pretty good the last few games. Obviously, he was in foul trouble the first 2 games in this series, but the last 3 games he stayed out of foul trouble, has played big minutes, 36, 38, 35 minutes. Also lost minutes last game due to blowout. He was on pace to play about 40 minutes last game, had to stay close. He's been fairly productive, though, 42, 28, 32 DraftKings points over the last 3 games. Obviously, his upside playing with Luka is not nearly as high, but he will get some minutes without Luka on the floor. He's going to play close to 40 minutes if it's a close game. I think 6,300 still looks pretty good for Jalen Brunson. So as a mid-range option, I think he's a very solid play. I do like him quite a bit on DK at that price tag. I think Dorian Finney-Smith is a very solid mid-range play. I know he was really bad last game, but he played 37 minutes even in the blowout. He's going to play 40, 42 minutes here if it's a close game. He's got to probably get hot from 3 and grab some rebounds to really put up a ceiling. Obviously that game where he shot 8 for 12 from 3, I don't expect that to happen again, but if he can knock down maybe 4 or 5 threes, maybe get 6, 7, 8 rebounds, Dorian Finney-Smith has a path to 35 DraftKings points, because he's just going to play so many minutes that he can kind of luck his way into 25, 30 DK points pretty easily. At 5,500, I think the minutes alone make Dorian Finney-Smith a solid mid-range option. Maxi Kleber, don't love him at this price tag, but he should get probably 30 minutes off the bench. He's clearly been playing ahead of Dwight Powell. Honestly, I don't even know why the Mavericks are still starting Dwight Powell. Dwight Powell literally played 8 minutes last game. He played 4 minutes to start the first quarter, subbed out, never checked back in, and then he played, he started halftime, or after halftime he played 4 minutes in the third quarter, subbed out, never checked back in. So it's really odd that they're even giving minutes to Dwight Powell right now. Just cut him out of the rotation. I just don't understand. Kleber should get 30 minutes. He's playable, but the price tag doesn't make him stand out. Reggie Bullock has really been struggling. He just hasn't shown much upside the last few games. But again, he's going to play huge minutes. So I think the minutes alone make Bullock in play. He's going to have to knock down some threes to really put up a big game at his salary. But he's going to be on the court for almost the entire game. I mean, he's going to play like 40 minutes, so he's for sure viable. Dinwiddie's been struggling lately off the bench, has not been playing that well, has not been playing many minutes either. His minutes have been trending down, so I'm not really that into Dinwiddie right now just because the minutes are kind of going the wrong way, which, if he's only going to play like 22 minutes, I just can't really go there. And yeah, that's it for Dallas. I mean, like Davis Bertans' dart throw is fine. Like he did knock down, or he did shoot 3 for 4 from 3 in only 19 minutes last game. He hasn't shown really any upside in the playoffs, but Davis Bertans is a good three-point shooter, and if he does get hot from 3, like you could see him play like 25 minutes. I think it's not that likely, but it's one of those plays you can just kind of sprinkle in if you're playing a ton of lineups. But other than that, I think that's it for Dallas, and that's it for this 2-game Thursday night slate. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully, it did help. If you enjoyed, hit that like button down below. As always, guys, appreciate all the likes. Hit that subscribe button as well if you haven't yet. Go check out PrizePicks, the sponsor of the video. As we talked about in the beginning, you can sign up for PrizePicks and use my promo code NOAH. PrizePicks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And you can take a look at their board, see the props they have available already for Thursday night, make some picks for yourself. I will share a couple of my favorite plays on PrizePicks today. I'll upload a video probably an hour or two after this video goes up, talking through a couple of plays I like for PrizePicks today. You can check that out if you are interested. But yeah, sign up, use code NOAH, get your first deposit matched up to $100. But that's all that I got for today, guys. Wish you the best luck on this Thursday night slate. Hope you enjoy your Thursday night. Enjoy the games tonight. Hopefully we can get some close games. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.